I am trying to work out the irony as I sit and stare at a blank page of a yet imaginary essay about you, Rosa Febres Cordero. When I saw that my assignment was to write an essay about your contribution to feminist movement, my first thought was simple and well-worn. Oh, just check Google. Find the mountain of information about you as a feminist and writer and woman. I've written so many essays over the course of my academic ascension, I thought I could wrap this up easily. Just finish the semester with an easy 4.2 grade point average. Just a few clicks away, I could see that you weren't going to divulge your information so easily because according to Google, you barely existed. One of the only sources of information that I could find about you was your own Wikipedia page, briefly describing you as essayist, dramatist, poet, novelist, sociologist, feminist, activist. This entry summarized all your work on social issues, briefly mentioned a few positions you held, organizations you founded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The obvious breadth and versatility of your work and your artistic skills showed me you had a nimble and restless spirit when it came down to creative endeavors. And the references to a dedicated life in social work was just evidence that you stood up and you fought for things that you believed in. And still, the information was shallow. It offered something more of an incomplete resume than a record of an impressive and dedicated life. Now, back to the irony. I must admit, your terse internet identity, it surprised me a little. Maybe you shouldn't have. Women have lived in relative obscurity since the dawning of man, since our first human societies have formed. Take the great man theory. And that is pretty much says it all. This paternalistic narrative didn't spare you, it didn't lift you, despite all of the dedicated work you did to empower women everywhere. If we are having so much trouble to have our stories featured of today and tomorrow, then yesterday is hopeless. The amount of difficulty that I had just to find a little bit of information so I could paint anything more than a basic picture of you just left me frustrated and sad. I wouldn't give up. I read everything I could find. I clicked on every link, I translated every page, I combed through every word. I uncovered every piece of detail and content so that I could possibly reveal something of the real you. My intention, my obsession went well beyond the essay or the course or the mark that I might get. I knew you were there. Where were you? Where were you? You. Where was your work, your poetry, your stories, your novels, your writing? You were just one more click away. You, Rosa. You, the woman who deserves to be remembered for more than just a few pictures or passing references on Google. I searched for you desperately. And as I was staring at your image, apologizing for my failure to find you, only in that very moment was I able to begin to write. What I handed in is not something that I would call academic. And I certainly didn't answer the assigned question. But I don't care. This is a treatise of the reduction and invisibility of women then and now. I am here before you as a white woman who has failed to find an Ecuadorian woman. I am here drenched in academia amongst white men who cannot seem to find a female Ecuadorian leader who has changed the world. I have failed. I tried to tell your story as best I could, Rosa. And I can only hope that everyone would sit up and listen and carefully begin to record the strong stories of women striving today, just like Rosa Febres Cordero did so many years ago.